At the start of the movie, we see a man named Professor Thomas Harber being interviewed on television. He has recently made a very important discovery. He has shown that there is life after we die. The person interviewing him expresses concern, saying that this discovery is dangerous. Since his research was shared with the world, the number of people taking their own lives has gone up dramatically. The professor responds to this worry by saying that such an important truth about human life must be shared with everyone, no matter what bad things might happen as a result. Thomas has figured out how to detect the brain waves that leave a person's body when they die. This means that when someone dies, their thoughts and feelings, which he calls consciousness, go somewhere. However, the interviewer argues that since no one knows exactly where consciousness goes, they cannot say for sure that life after death really exists. The interviewer then mentions that many famous people, athletes, and even regular citizens have ended their lives because of what Thomas discovered. She asks him if he feels responsible for these deaths, and Thomas simply says that he does not feel guilty at all. At this moment, a member of the camera crew steps forward and he takes out a gun and shoots himself. Fast forward 2 years, and it is now the anniversary of Thomas's big discovery. His son, Will Harber, is on a ferry, listening to a news program talking about his father's work. He learns that the number of people killing themselves has not gone down at all since the discovery was made. Frustrated and upset, Will turns off the TV. While he sits quietly, a girl named Isla, who is sitting nearby, surprises him by introducing herself. They are the only passengers on the ferry, so they start a conversation. Will thinks Isla looks familiar, and they chat for a while. The topic soon shifts to the discovery about life after death. Isla supports Thomas's work, believing it helps people find relief from their pain. But Will strongly disagrees. He believes it has caused too much suffering instead. After they arrive at the harbor, Isla decides to hitch a ride with a passing car, leaving Will behind. Just then, his brother Toby arrives to pick him up. Toby drives Will to a large mansion that their father has bought. Inside, Will finds that Thomas has transformed the mansion into a place where he can conduct his experiments and where he employs people who have survived self-harming attempts. Will is puzzled by the sight of labs and complicated machines inside the house. When he meets his father, he directly asks him to stop his work. Will wants Thomas to tell the public that his discovery was a lie and to end the chain of self-harming attempts that have happened as a result. Thomas laughs at his son's request and insists that his discovery is completely true. Will feels a heavy weight on his shoulders because he knows that he was the inspiration for his father's work. When Will was a child, he had a serious accident and died for a short time. After he was brought back to life, he told his parents that he had seen bright lights and a little boy while he was gone. This experience led Thomas to believe that life after death might really exist. Because of this, Will feels guilty for the deaths that have happened and desperately wants his father to stop the experiments. After their difficult conversation, Will steps outside to clear his head. While he is outside, he notices Isla by the beach. She appears to be packing heavy bags filled with weights. Will realizes that she intends to walk into the ocean to end her life. He quickly runs into the water and manages to pull her back to safety. However, Isla is very angry with him for interfering. Will takes Isla back to the mansion and asks Toby to help her since they are trying to assist people who are struggling with thoughts of self-destruction. Toby agrees but tells Isla that she must first answer some questions to be accepted into their program. Isla is shocked to learn that Thomas is Will's father. Next, Thomas interviews Isla and asks her about her life and what has brought her to this point. While this is happening, Will explores the mansion and sees that it has been set up to help people, with kitchens and rooms for those staying there. Later that evening, everyone gathers in a large room where Thomas is about to share something important. He introduces a man who has a strange device attached to his head. Thomas claims that he has discovered a way to actually see what happens in the afterlife. Until now, people only knew that our brain waves go somewhere after we die, but he believes he has created a way to see where those waves go. Will and the others are shocked by this claim. Thomas explains that they can use the machine to watch a video of the afterlife. Later, everyone is in Thomas's office. He expresses his desire to be the first person to test this new device, but he needs to be dead for that to happen. So they decide to perform the experiment on a body that is already dead. They plan to take a corpse from the morgue. On their way there, Toby confides in Isla that their mother took her own life and Will holds their father responsible for her death. At the morgue, Toby distracts the attendant, allowing Will and Isla to steal the body of a man named Phillips. That night, Will and Isla end up sleeping on a bunk bed together. Will opens up to her about the tragic day his mother died. He reveals that she ended her life on the anniversary of his parents' wedding because Thomas was not paying attention to her and did not come out of his office to celebrate with her. Will found her body in the bathtub the next day and this memory haunts him. They talk for a while and fall asleep while holding hands. The next day, everyone gets ready to perform the experiment. They attach the head of the corpse to the device and press a button. Thomas eagerly waits for something to show up on the screen, but nothing happens. They try again and again, but still, they see no results. Frustrated, Thomas leaves the room, and the others follow him out. However, when Will is alone, the monitor suddenly turns on and shows a video of Phillips meeting a woman in a hospital. Will quickly turns it off before Thomas comes back in. They have to let Phillips's body go for cremation, and Thomas asks Toby for a new corpse. Will and Isla take the body back to the morgue and leave it outside. Suddenly, Isla kisses Will, surprising him. Will cannot stop thinking about the video he saw. He has saved it on his laptop. After researching online, he discovers the hospital featured in the video. He drives to that hospital and walks through the same hallway that Phillips walked through in the clip. However, Will soon reaches a dead end not shown in the video. A janitor tells him that the hallway was changed during renovations 10 years ago. Will realizes that the video must not be from the future. Instead, it is likely showing Phillips's memories. Later, everyone gathers again in the mansion for a meeting when Thomas calls up a patient named Lacey. Lacey has been openly criticizing the discovery and Thomas's new invention, arguing that it will lead to even more acts of self-destruction. Thomas confronts her in front of everyone, revealing that he saved her from killing herself in the woods. In the end, he tells her to pack her things and leave the facility. Will becomes very angry at Thomas for treating Lacey so poorly and embarrassing her, but Thomas brushes off Will's concerns, showing he is unconcerned about the impact of his actions. Later, Will decides to show Isla the video they had found of Phillips. Together, they head to the hospital where Phillips was seen in the footage, hoping to uncover more about his past. As they search through the hospital records, they come across a file belonging to Phillips's father, which includes his address. They surmise that in the video, Phillips was visiting his ailing father, who was near death, and the woman he encountered was likely a family member. That night, Will has a conversation with his brother, Toby. Toby reveals that their father, Thomas, has been working on the machine because he feels guilty about their mother's death and wants to understand if she found peace after passing away. The following day, Will and Isla visit the beach, where Isla shares her own tragic story. She confides in Will that her 5-year-old son drowned at the beach after she accidentally fell asleep. This devastating event drove her to the brink of ending her life before Will intervened. After their conversation, they visit Phillips's house and meet his sister, who turns out to be the woman from the video. She informs them that Phillips never visited their father in the hospital. In fact, none of the family members liked him due to his poor treatment of them. Will recalls seeing a lighthouse tattoo on Phillips's arm in the video, but the sister corrects him, stating that Phillips actually had a wave tattoo. This revelation leads Will to realize that the video isn't just a memory. It depicts what happens in the afterlife. He comes to understand that after death, people can revisit their past to correct the mistakes they made. In this afterlife, they are given a chance to relive a different version of their lives and make better choices. Will and Isla are astonished by this discovery. While discussing it in their room, Toby suddenly bursts in, urging them to see Thomas. They rush to find him, only to discover that Thomas has connected himself to the machine in an attempt to understand its workings. As they watch, the monitor springs to life, showing a video of Thomas on the night his wife died. It was their wedding anniversary, and in the video, Thomas tells his wife that work can wait, and he joins her for dinner. This time, he seizes the opportunity to correct his past mistakes. After witnessing this crucial moment, Will and Isla quickly disconnect the machine and use a defibrillator to revive Thomas. Thomas is shocked but elated to see that his device actually works. He realizes that when someone dies, they are transported back to the moment they regret most in their life, giving them a second chance to make different choices. Eager to share this groundbreaking discovery, Thomas gathers everyone in the front yard of the mansion to announce his invention. However, just as he is about to speak, a gunshot rings out. Lacey, a woman who had been expelled from the mansion, has shot Isla. Lacey claims that she didn't kill Isla but rather gave her a new beginning, before being taken away by Toby. Isla collapses and tells Will that she no longer wishes to die. Heartbroken, Will holds her as she takes her final breath. Sometime later, Toby and Thomas are seen discussing Isla's family for a police report. Thomas decides to destroy the machine due to the harm it has caused. However, he discovers the door is locked from the inside. Will has locked himself in and connected to the device. He suffocates himself, and as he nears death, he finds himself reliving a memory of being on the ferry. In this memory, Will encounters Isla again and questions what is happening. Isla explains that this is a memory because Will is still connected to the machine and hasn't died yet. In this memory, Isla represents Will's subconscious. She reveals that he has been reliving this moment repeatedly across different lives. They first met on the same ferry many lives ago, but in that life, Will didn't notice Isla's attempt to end her life and he couldn't save her. The next day, when he learned of her death, he was consumed by guilt, knowing he could have intervened. Will continued to live his life, but the guilt never left him. Eventually, when he died, he was brought back to the ferry, where he met Isla again because this was the moment he regretted the most. Yet even in that life he couldn't save her. Will has been trapped in this cycle, but he had never succeeded until this most recent life. Isla tells Will that by preventing her from taking her life in this life, he has finally found peace and no longer has regrets. Because of this, in his next life, he will not return to the ferry but will end up elsewhere. Will promises Isla that he will remember her in his next life. In that moment, Will begins to hear the distant voices of Thomas and Toby as they desperately try to revive him. Despite their best efforts, Will's life slips away. After his death, he finds himself standing on a serene beach, where he notices a young boy playing alone in the water. Will rushes to rescue the boy from the looming danger of drowning. Just then Isla appears. Isla then expresses her gratitude and walks away with her son. As Will continues down the beach, he glances back with a look of confusion, as if fragments of his memory are starting to resurface. With that, the movie ends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.